Welcome back to the Piping Pastor, my very first Saturday Sharp Things video. Sharp Things Saturday, sorry. And as I mentioned, I'm recording this directly after the one I just did on Twain. So I've actually been looking forward to doing this this video because I'm a Sharp Things guy. Not that I have anything against guns. Guns are fine. I got my first gun when I was in third grade, single shot 410 shotgun. And I always love sharing that story with my mates when I lived in the UK because they're like, "You had a gun in third grade?" I'm like, well, yeah. But culturally speaking, it was appropriate. I lived in a trailer park with biker gangs, right? So it's like, everybody had guns. But being a martial artist, my heart is with the sharp thing. So my first one is going to be this guy here. As you can see, this little girl and I have been through it a bit. But this is a throwing dagger. Now, it's made specifically for throwing because it's of course beveled on both sides, double-edged, hardened tip, and it's meant to be balanced. However, this one is slightly modified in that the holes are cut out of the tang, because usually in a throwing dagger you have perfect balance right here. As you can see, that is not the case. The balance on this one is an inch in front of where it typically should be. And the reason for that is because this dagger, this throwing dagger, is made in the way that a combat throwing dagger is meant to be made, which is to say throwing at very, very short distances. Very heavy on the front, so the impact and insertion becomes deeper. Now, that being said, in a knife fight, you never throw your knife. Never throw your knife. You don't get rid of the one weapon you have in your hand, right? You hold on to it and use it, okay? But in the event that you do want to throw a knife or have an opportunity to throw a knife, again, you don't start with it over here and throw across the room, right? Going end over end like in the movies and then hitting the target, right? It doesn't work that way. You can do it that way if you practice at the exact distance over and over and over again and get your timing down perfectly. But that's for performance. You can't do that like in combat. You can't say like, you know what, I timed this out to where all the turns equal with the point in the target at 17 and a half feet. So would you mind standing 2.5 feet back and then don't move until the knife gets to you, right? Obviously, that's not going to work. The way combat throwing works in a combat throwing situation is the knife comes up and it goes here, and all it does is extend your reach by maybe a foot. So instead of being, arm and knife distance away, it's about a foot beyond that. And holding it here, you just let the knife fly from your hand as you release it towards the target, and it goes straight into the target. You don't toss it end over end. That's fictional. That's not real. But again, as I said, you wouldn't use that in combat in any case. In a knife fight, first of all, you don't use a double-edged side. Okay, there is a psychology to knife work about what kind of knife you want to use and how it identifies the person you're fighting with the other knife. And a double-sided blade like this is for people who just want to see blood. They don't care if it's you cut, they cut, somebody else cut. They just want to see someone get cut, because there's no way to safely wield a dirk like this unless you're straight up stabbing. And knife fights are typically more slashing than stabbing, because once you stab into the body's a vacuum. It takes the knife and you lose your weapon again because it's stuck into your target, probably fouled on a bone or some other kind of tendon or some kind of non-lethal thing, right? So knife fights are usually more about slashing, and you would not use this as a slashing weapon because it goes up against yourself, right? So not the best weapon for close quarter knife combat, unless you're just pulling it out to throw one time into your target, into a very specific area. So there's a little throwing knife inside baseball for you. But I do like this one. It is a lot of fun. I do like throwing. Again, maybe a foot or two away from the target in different positions. getting balance and targeting and stuff like that done. It's a lot of fun. But apart from that, I would never actually use this knife in self-defense unless I had no other option. And if I did, I would use it as a dirk, only in a stabbing motion, not in a typical slicing knife fight. So, but that is my contribution for Sharp Things Saturday, and I have a really cool one for next time, which I may not be able to record because it just occurred to me I don't get back until late Friday night from California. So I'm gonna have to miss a week, but the week after that, I got a really cool one. So, all right, hope you have a lovely week. As always, happy reading.